I can't even, I'm just looking at her face. I can't even get over her
I
face.
know. I know. I
Oh.
did honestly do a little bit of Abby stalking today because I've heard about you since
Oh, did you?
December. And then I was like, all right, like, let's see what this girl's about.
She's
It's
not
pretty
even
Yeah,
launched
awesome.
yet.
I
She's not even
appreciate that.
launched yet.
Thank
That's
you.
the funny part.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know exactly. Like you're at the beginning of your journey, and we get to have you on before you're like,
Uber
you know.
famous. And she's like, Teddy who? Michelle who?
So
All
I
right.
will welcome you, Abby, to
Thank
the
you.
Wellness Podcast. And I'm just excited to learn about you and your background. And I know
Mhm.
you and Campbell have known each other for quite some time.
Mhm.
And I want to hear a little bit about that too. So I'd say, Abby, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about like how did you get here talking to us on
Yeah.
this podcast?
All right. Yeah. So I'm Abby Taul, and basically I've been modeling for about 2 years now. And I met Teddy about, it'll be 3 years in August, I'd say. And literally, I'm gonna be so honest with you, I did not know what was going on. Like, modeling was not on my radar,
Yeah.
but when Teddy came along, she just came in and she was like, hey, like, I really think you should be a model. She just came up to me, told me that, and I was like, what? Because again, I am from a small town in Kentucky that's kind of like unheard of, you know.
Yeah.
People would come up to me and be like, you should be a model, you should be a model. I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah,
sure. So
thanks.
where did that happen? Where
You
were
know,
you,
just
I
like,
guess, when she
I
came
would
up to
just
you?
be at like a store and, you know, like the southern old ladies would just come over and be like, oh, sweetheart, I just think you should be a model. And I was just like, well, thank you. But of course, you know, it's not something that's really in the cards over here. But yeah, so when she asked me that, that was honestly like insane, like blew my mind away. Just because I was at a point where I was just an awkward teenage girl, didn't know how I felt about my body. I was always a little insecure because, of course, I was on the taller end.
She's
I was
6'1", by
even,
the way.
I'm 6'1.5".
6'1".
6'1"
So
and a
you have
half,
like
that's right.
the perfect last name. You're like,
I,
okay, I'm gonna be clear about who I am.
yes.
Right up front.
Oh my
Right?
gosh, the amount of jokes I get
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
I'm
every
sure.
single day about that is insane. But basically, yeah, she came up to me, asked me that, and I was really unsure. And my parents were like right there with me, and they were like, I don't
Yeah.
know, like this is our little
Well,
girl.
I actually approached Abby's mum and dad first because I didn't want it to be weird. And also I was scouted exactly the same way as I scouted her. And I was with dad, obviously, but you know, Abby was with her mum and dad, and we kind of did a double take on the bridge. Do you remember that? We kind of looked at each
Yeah,
other. You looked at me and you were like, "Oh, she seems cute," and I was like,
yeah.
how. And the whole story is so crazy because I had been, I had had a really bad day and a really awful morning, and I was praying and praying and praying. And I just said, this day has to turn around, like, send me an angel, send me a sign. And I'm walking over the bridge. I was in, where were we? We were in,
Nashville.
Nashville, that's right. I was there for the Grand Prix, and she, as was Abby. Although Abby wasn't even supposed to be there, were you? You weren't supposed to go to
No,
that
it was
thing at all.
insane. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
We saw each other, and I sort of did. You know when you do that, one of those like what? And she looked at me, and I thought this is a moment where I could change her life, and I really believe that God has put this girl in my path. She is going to clearly get asked because of her height and the way she looked. She's going to get asked multiple times if she's a model. And I had in my chest this feeling that I need to guide and help this girl. So my first instinct was go and speak to her parents. And I was very matter of fact, and I said, listen, I know this sounds crazy. I was approached this way. It does sound weird. It's clearly obvious that your daughter is beautiful, that the modeling industry is crazy. But I hope that you can trust me. Here's my name. And I could see Maria. Was it Maria that was there with you as well?
Macy, my sister.
It was Macy?
Macy, yeah.
But Macy was literally like this, like trying to figure out if I was legit. But at that point, I'd already knew that this girl was going to be in my life. I'll let you carry on from there.
Yeah, so basically that happened. We got her information. I went home from Nashville, and my parents were like, we just need you to, like, think about this a little bit, because this industry has such a bad rep. And they, as do most people, just hear the very worst. And so they were very skeptical about, like, I'm the baby of the family, so they were just like, I don't know about that. Like, we feel more comfortable with you just, like, being with us here, just getting
like high school. Yeah.
And I was like, that being a model is just kind of scary thinking. It's like, I never really liked being on the front of a camera. Like, I was kind of like behind the scenes kind of girl. Like, I didn't know what to do with attention. Like, just did not make me feel comfortable. And so I was like, this would be way outside my comfort zone, like way outside. And I was like, I was just talking to my mom about it. She was like, well, we've got a lot going on this year. Just like a lot of like family stuff and plans. She's like, you want to do something? Let's just do it next year. Like, and see if she still remembers you. We'll reach out to Teddy, see if she remembers you and everything. And I was like, okay, like, that's fair, because I still need to think about it too. So yeah, it was like 4 months went by, and it was like the first week of January, and or I guess it was more than 4 months, but Mom was like, I guess we can reach out and see what happens. I mean, don't be surprised if she doesn't remember you, or if
they didn't think I was going to remember her. They didn't think I was going to remember at all. I had not stopped thinking about this girl since the day I met her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically that's what we did, and we got back a voice message that was like 4 minutes long of Teddy being like, oh my gosh, of course I didn't forget you. Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for you to reach out. Like, I'm so excited. Like, let's like do a call and like get some things figured out. And then from there, the rest is history. A few months later, I went to New York for my first ever test shoot. And
with me,
with Teddy, and she found a photographer, and we went in this small studio apartment, took a couple pictures, and Teddy was like, yep, I made the right decision. I was like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, this is crazy. Like, I was so nervous, but I felt really like good after. I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. Like, I feel like I could actually do this. And my parents took me aside, and they were like, you can say no. Yeah. If you don't want to do it, if at any time in your life you don't want to do this, just tell us or just say it, and you don't have to. Like, anytime. So,
and that was something that I had said multiple times to Abby and to her mum and dad. I was like, this does not mean everything. Everything is not set in stone. Like, if you have a year of doing it and you love it, great. And then you decide, I don't want to do this anymore. No one's going to be mad at you. I'm certainly not going to be mad at you. We gave it a shot. Let's see what happens. But something happened on that photo shoot that I was testing her with. And I know that mum and dad also knew that, and they know this now, but that I don't know whether they knew it at the time. But when we were in the cab going back to my apartment, and I said, did you understand the test I gave you? And Abby went, yes. And her mum, Monica, was just like, yeah. And I almost jumped out of my seat, but like David, her father, pulled her back down and went, she's testing her. And it was just a simple test, as in, she would say that the girl, it was a girl photographer. And I think that a lot of the time that the fashion industry thinks it's just men that are inappropriate. But let me tell you, women are also inappropriate, and I feel that they can also get away with a lot more because they're a woman, and that they wouldn't think that it would be them because they're women. But I said to her, I want you to test her and ask her to remove something that might make her feel uncomfortable. And I was so proud of her because Abby said, no, I don't want to do that. I don't feel comfortable. And I was literally behind the scenes going,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
she passed the test. But what happened in those images, those first images that we took, it was like, and I have never seen, unless it's been Linda Evangelista or Cindy Crawford or, you know, Christy Turlington, I have never seen images like that before in my life from someone who had never been photographed before ever. It was mind-blowing. And when I sent these images to DNA, well, first of all, I sent them to Linda's best friend and manager, my darling friend Freddie, and he was just like, "What in the world? Like, what am I looking? Is this Linda? Did you find photos of Linda for when she was like 12?" And I was like, "No, this is my girl, Abby. Like, what do I do?" Like, he's like, "Oh, honey, you go to the top." And then I was like, okay. So then I sent them to DNA, and people started to freak out like instantly. But we've had to wait. We've had to be patient, and I'll let Abby carry on with the story.
Yeah, so basically after that whole shoot, I then went on to sign with Teddy as my mother agent, and she got me a test shoot with, to this day, like my favorite photographer I've ever worked with, Danny. I love him. He taught
Everyone
me so
loves
much.
Daddy.
He taught me so much about like how to be like a model, like how, of course, Teddy taught me like everything as well, but he taught me like how to show emotion through the pictures, things I didn't think about, like being that deep, or just like how can you do that if it's just a picture, you know, like how can you search for something more, or like, oh, and then I figured out, I was like, oh, this is kind of like acting, which is kind of cool, because I always kind of like, when I was younger, I was like, ooh, it'd be so cool to be an actress. So I was, okay, that's when I was like, that, it clicked, and I was like, whatever vibe I'm feeling the photographer wants, I'm gonna like switch into character, and that's what I'm gonna go for. But as long as the photographer is willing to give me that, you know, information, then I can work with that, you know what I mean? So after that, she got me so many jobs. My first job was for a bridal company, and they were my first like 4 jobs. They kept on rebooking me, which I was really surprised about, not gonna lie, because I thought my first job was like, I was like, oh, that was terrible, because I was like,
her.
I was like 16. I could not walk in heels. I was struggling, like wearing these big wedding gowns, and I was like, man, modeling's hard. Like, I don't know why I thought it was so easy. And I was like, why are the hours so long? Because I thought it was like 2 hours, you know? A lot of humbling happened. First job, but it was really good because I learned so much from, I mean, it would still to this day, it's one of the toughest things I've had to model with bridal gowns, but they were so nice to me and so patient with me, and I ended up being very comfortable. I think I was really nervous at first, but I ended up being super comfortable with them, and it was great. Like, I can't think of a better first few jobs than them, for sure. And then I had another job with Naeem Khan, I believe. Really nice designer. And then a few months later, took a little break, and then went to New York again, and Teddy was like, we're going to get you an agency, like a big agency. And I was like, okay, like, I don't know, this is going to be like my first interview, because that's kind of nerve-wracking. But I don't know how she did it. She hooked me up with like top 3 best. Yeah. And I was like, man, this girl, I'm very lucky because she's great. But yeah,
you did it all, honey. You did it all, really. Wow. You did it all. I just put you in front of these people.
Yeah, because you can take somebody who has the right look, the right height, you know, whatever the criteria is, but just in what I'm hearing, you adapted, you figured out how to do it, you were open to feedback, and you applied it. You did that. She may have had contacts, but it's you
Yeah.
that made that happen. So like, I just want to make sure you know and you recognize that that's 100% you. There's other people who would have been like, that photographer doesn't know what he's talking about, or I'm not going to act like I'm mad or sad, whatever the case may be. You're like, no, I love that you're giving me that feedback because then I can apply and learn. Like, that's all you.
It
That's
really
awesome.
is.
Thank you.
She showed up at all of her interviews. The one thing they said about Abby was, it's clear and obvious how beautiful she is, but it's coming from somewhere else. This light and beauty is coming from within her. She's super intelligent and way beyond her years. They couldn't believe she had just turned 16, 17, I think, when we were meeting people, right? They were like, okay, well, this isn't the first time she's been here, because she's so mature, and she didn't think like a normal teenager at that time. And still now, she's so wise beyond her years. She loves to be prepped. She loves to like be organized and know what she's doing. And she's really taken this job very, very seriously, not in a serious, like moody way, but like in a serious, this is my job. This is what I need to do. This is how I need to apply. But there was something, and then an element about our job as models that I don't think Abby really understood. And I'm going to let her talk about that because I know that she knows what I'm talking about. And I think that a lot of people don't understand. I think they just think that we stand there all day and look pretty.
That is what people think, by the way.
Exactly. But it is so effing physical. If you do not work out, if you're not spiritually, mentally, and physically prepared, you cannot do your job to the best of your ability. And I think that Abby is understanding that and knows that. And this is why we're training like an athlete. Like, we train like athletes. And I don't think people understand why we do that. But I'll let Abby tell you, because it's part of her story of not really understanding until she got on set and she was like, wow, I'm freaking exhausted. And then I was like, okay, well, this is what we need to do now. Abby, go ahead.
Yeah. So it was one of my first jobs. It wasn't the bridal company. It was a different designer. But yeah. So this is actually kind of embarrassing. But I get on. It was very inconvenient. The night before we flew out for this job, I had gotten sick. And so I was like, that's such convenient timing because, like, I literally don't have a life. So that couldn't have happened any other time. And so I get over there and I'm like, maybe it was just something I ate. Hopefully I'm fine for this job because it's like my second job. I'm really nervous. Get there, get to set.
We won't go
Yeah, and so I'm talking about the Miami shoot.
The Miami shoot. Oh my God. Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, carry on.
Yeah. So this is like in the summer. And so it's hot. It's really hot. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I kind of just showed up and was hoping, for the best. I didn't know if it was going to be indoor, outdoor. Kind of hoping it was going to be indoor. But I get there, Teddy's doing the makeup on the job and everything. So I get there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hadn't seen her in forever. And then I sit down and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, well, not really, but I'm gonna try my best to be okay, And she was like, you need to, like, eat something. And I was like, I can't, I'm telling you, it would be a bad idea if I ate, like, I can't eat anything. So basically, she's just like, okay, like, this is not good, because we're outside on the beach in Miami in the summer, so it's pretty hot out there.
Yeah.
So I get on the set, and it's...
Heels this big. Heels this
big for Abby, who does not know how to use heels, walk on heels at all. And we're taking a few pictures. It's fine. There's a couple other beautiful models on the job, and they're doing great, killing it. And so I was like a little intimidated by that, but I was like, it's okay. I'll do my best. And I get over there. It's like literally maybe my first outfit I'm in out of like 10, I don't know. And I'm like standing there and I'm like, okay, I just gotta lock in.
I'm like this on
through
her.
the day. And the photographer, Danny, actually, he's taking the pictures, and I'm just like, I think I might pass out. Like, I'm like this close. And I was like, okay, I need something to sit on. I'm like, hey guys, I need a box. Like, I'm about to go down. And so Danny, he rushes, he grabs a little apple box or whatever and puts it down. And I sit on it, and then I'm like out. Like, I'm out. I pass out. And Teddy runs over, and she just
I
like
could
hugs
see her.
me. And I just like, my head went over, and I was, oh man, I wasn't unconscious or anything. It was completely dark, and I couldn't see anything. And I was just thinking in my head, I just ruined this job. Like, I just messed up. This is so embarrassing. I was only out there for like 20 minutes, and I'm already like, who are they going to think I am? I could
And
not.
17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not like 25 and, you're 17 years old dealing with this.
Yeah, so I should have maybe not given myself such a hard time for that, because I did.
Yeah.
I had a stomach bug, but
yeah, she did.
I didn't really know that. I thought it was just me being annoying. And
Being human.
Being human, And so I get over to their little canopy, and they're giving me like sugar. They're like, "You need to eat some sugar." Like, I'm like, "No, I have a stomach bug. I can't eat anything." But they get some sugar in, and then I'm able to tolerate the rest of the day.
She just kept going. She kept going.
I kept going.
A champion.
Naeem actually said there's some of his most favourite images, his campaign images, and he's like, unless she'd gone down the way she went down, he would never have known. And that just goes to show how professional Abby was, even at 17. But the element of that is that we are human. We're all human beings, and we have to allow ourselves to be human. But what's happened in our industry is we have created this unrealistic approach to work that has made girls believe that they cannot be human, and they are. Yes, we have a great job. Yes, she's beautiful. Yes, she's all of the things, but she's also a human being. And this is why I wanted to work with her and look after and nurture her career, was because I do not want her to get sick from an eating disorder. I don't want her to get sick from mental exhaustion, all of the things, and to implement, strong exercise, meditation practice, prayer, all of that kind of stuff has really had to be drilled into both of us. I mean, we kind of mentor each other, I feel like. Abby's one of my greatest teachers, and I've always said that, because she teaches me how to teach her and be the best mentor. She's my best mentee. I mean, she's my goddaughter, and I love her so much. And I really believe that God gave her to me as a gift. And her mother and father and her whole entire family, I just adore them. And it really is like a family, and we support each other. And I really hope that I still do that, Abby. We're on a really tough, strict regime right now, because we've got to get ready for launch and all of the things, and it is going to be a little bit tougher for Abby, because she is a lot taller than most of the models, but there are a very unique range of models that are in her height range, the Carly Kloss and Doutzen Cruz and all of these girls that are in that elite and tall status, Tony Garn also being one of them, and she's the best of the best, and she had to be with the best agency. And quite frankly, I just knew, because I already had visually, as we know, I have visions and I see things. I already saw her walking the runways of Paris Fashion Week. I was like, oh my God, this is so weird. And it's taking our time, but we're going to get there. It's like non-negotiable. I already see it happening. It's had to be done at a certain pace, because I'm not going to get her sick. I don't want her to be unwell mentally or physically. And it has taken a little bit of time. But the thing is, I feel like slow and easy wins the race. She's not going anywhere. Abby is already her own brand. Like, we're talking about so many other things, Taul being, I don't want to reveal it too much, but we have something else in the pipeline for her as well, to do with her name and the difficulties of being a tall girl, and I think that people don't understand this whole modeling industry as in we just stand there, look pretty. No, it's a physical job. And had we had elements of understanding our body a little bit better at 16, 17, it's not that easy. You're still growing. There could have been other ways that she could have said, you know, like, listen guys, I don't feel good, but maybe I just need to sit down for 5 minutes or whatever. Having that bravery and that courage to do that amongst the people that she was with would have been totally fine, because it's Naeem and his girlfriend and me and Danny and all of those things. But as a young girl who doesn't know really much about the industry and has only seen what she's seen from reading and all of those kind of things, or watching videos and such, there is an element of, if you fall to the ground, you won't get booked again. You know what I mean? It's like crazy. But Abby has already built up this reputation of just being the kindest girl, please and thank yous, shows up on time, is always prepared, nails done, legs waxed, arms, the whole thing. People are like, who is she and where does she come from? It's
they probably want
from
to
the
work
90s.
with her more, right?
Yes. And this
I
is
would
the
think
feedback.
if somebody comes prepared, that that's how you get booked more. So you have to be this, and this.
Mhm.
But there's, you know, tons of people who are this, and this. What sets you apart is your preparedness, your professionalism, and people want to work with you. You're gracious, you're kind.
But the other thing I love about Abby is she's never on her phone.
Yeah.
Never on her
Which
phone.
is unusual.
Very unusual
by the way.
for her age range. But when she's on set, I'm like, God damn it, Abby's bloody. But she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. So like, she won't text me until she's probably sitting in the toilet having a quick look to see who's texted, whether it's mum or me or whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't see the phone. To me, she's so engaged. She's engaged with the photographer. She's engaged with the stylist, the makeup, the hair. And this is why she's being remembered. This is why people are saying she's a joy on set. You know, this little device is always just such a freaking distraction. But most girls are not like that. Most girls are in their phone, head down the whole time. And you're just not like that, Abby. And people are like, who is she? Where did she come from? Is she reincarnated from the 90s? I mean, so many people keep saying this about Abby.
Yeah.
Look at her. She has this classic, beautiful 90s look about her, you know, and I'm so excited for her career. Her health and wellness element to her as a human being is so imperative, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to get her on to the Wellness Podcast, because she takes that part so seriously. I mean, she's working out every single day. She is on fire. She's got herself a nice little side job. You can tell everyone what you want to tell them, but I'll shut up now. Sorry. I'm just so excited for her.
But yeah, I'm mainly just focusing on mental health at this point, which is like, I feel like you can't get to where you want physically if you're not mentally ready, you know?
Hey, girl.
And it's...
Can we put that in a quote? I swear, like, that needs to be quoted.
18 years old right now. 18 years old, and she's saying that her physical is not going to happen unless she's got this right. I mean, what in the world, Abby? I'm so freaking proud of what I'm gonna cry probably. I cry like a tick these days. Anyway, I'm so proud of you. Like, what 18-year-old says that? Like, seriously.
Yeah, well, it's true. Like, I tried it just being like physical all the time, and then I realized that's not gonna happen unless I'm mentally ready. And it was very humbling, because I was just like, well, I can be physically ready though, you know, and then who cares? I'll pretend. Then it took me, I was just like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. I gotta be there. And mental health really just like, it's a big part of it. I feel like I've made a few friends now that are fellow models, and we've had really deep conversations about how hard mentally this job is. And it was really nice to be able to be like, me too, because, you know, here at home, I don't have any model friends that I love my friends, like all of them so much, but none of them really understand what I'm going through exactly, or like the highs and lows of it all. And so when I was able to talk to some of my model friends about it, it's just like, yeah, like it's hard. And people just think it's hard, like physically. Well, people in general don't think it's hard, actually, to start out with.
Mm-hmm.
People
Yes,
don't think it's hard. And I'm
definitely.
going to be so honest right now. I was one of those people. Like, when you think about models here, you're just like, oh, yeah, that's easy. Like, they just get paid a lot of money for, like, an hour of working and just, like, all this stuff. And that could be true in certain circumstance. I don't know. Hasn't happened to me. But, it is mainly just, like, really long days. And you're standing there and you start feeling bad because your body's hurting of whatever you have to be put on, but you have to seem like you're perfect. You have to be perfect. And it's like, that's so hard because I feel terrible, And that's just a big part of it. Like, it's all mental. Like, you just got to be ready for it. And that's something that, like, Teddy explained to me, and then my agency explained to me, DNA. They were like, you need to be ready physically, obviously, but mentally, you really have to be ready because you don't know what's coming.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's a difference, Teddy, from back in when you were that age? Do you feel like they were concerned mentally how you were? Or do you
Absolutely
feel like
not.
it was just,
No.
yeah, like what was it like? And then how has it changed? How did we get caring about the human?
Well, I think that the whole Me Too movement that happened and people calling people out really changed our industry for the better. But I also think that there's still a lot of people that still don't think that applies to them, and they can still be inappropriate, and they can still be. I mean, there's still people out there working right now that I'm like, how are you still in our industry? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that I'm still so shocked to see around. And I don't want to be the person that says, because I don't want to be that person that's like, well, everyone else is okay with that person, only you aren't. Well, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? I try not to get myself into those situations, but I think the Me Too movement definitely helped. And it called out a lot of people. A lot of people were very shocked about the people that got called out. But yeah, if you didn't go to that party, or if you weren't drinking that drink, or I didn't even have a chaperone. I was in Greece at the age of 15 or 16 on my own, being told, if you want this Vogue or Elle cover, you have to do this. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, because we don't need to know. I mean, everybody will kind of figure it out. But that was the way of the world then. And it was just, I was so impressionable, and I was so young, and I so wanted to be in this world because it was an escape for me. And I was, as Abby says, I was playing a character. We're almost like little actresses. We're playing characters when we're modeling, and it was my way of just being free, if that makes sense. Like, I felt such freedom in front of the camera until I didn't, because then I was starting to be manipulated and abused and all of the things. But there was not, Ellen and Jerry were really incredible, and they did always say, if you see this, or say something, blah, blah, blah. But then there was always people in the background were like, you didn't see that, right? Don't say anything. Don't make a fuss, because you know what? You won't get booked again. And I was so terrified, and I was so wanting to make money so that I could send it home and I could give it to my mum and dad, and I didn't have to worry about asking them for anything. And I know that Abby has that as well. She just wants to be independent and not, rely on mum and dad and all of these things. And that was very me as well. So I feel like me and Abby are very similar. We're just like riding the path, parallel right now. But it wasn't like it is now. Agencies weren't saying to you, you've got to be mentally prepared, or you've got to be physically prepared, or we can help you with a diet plan, or we can help you with an exercise regime. And when I say diet plan, I'm not saying going on a diet to be skinny or to be this or to be that. I'm saying a diet is what you eat every day. That's what a diet means. It's whether you eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or do you just eat lunch and dinner. A diet is what that is. It's not going on a diet, if that makes sense. But that was something that was going on back in the day. I mean, I had someone say to me, oh, you know, you could lose a couple of pounds and then you'd book this show. Oh, I can show you how to do it. That's when the cigarette started, you know, the cigarette smoking started, when the celery sticks came out, when like just stupid shit that I used to do because I wanted to book that job. And I just don't want that for Abby. I want her to be her. I want her to do it the right way, the healthy way, and the mentally and spiritually healthy way as well, because this is when people get very, very unwell. And I don't want that for her. And I've always said to her, the minute I think that that's happening to you, I'm going to pull the plug and I'm going to say, listen, we're going to stop this, you know, because it's really not worth that. It's just not.
It's not. And I just am so thankful. I have a teenage daughter that's not much younger than you, Abby, and am just so thankful that for you and, you know, her and others, that we have gotten to this point where we can actually care about you as a person and not put those demands and that silly stuff on you. And it's not even silly, it's disgusting. Some of the things that you've been through, Teddy, are disgusting and repulsive. And the fact that they put you through that at that age, and we don't need to get into all of those stories, but the fact that we've evolved in, you know, as women, we have a long way to go. But at least we're here. At least
we're getting there
at this point. Yeah.
I believe that Abby, when I first saw her, I saw my vision of her, I was like, this girl is going to literally be, and I've said this to you multiple times, Abby, who is the most impressionable girl? Ooh, in the music industry when it comes to girls and boys, and mostly girls, but it was always Taylor Swift. Every girl loves her. She sings all the lovely songs. I feel like Abby is going to be that sort of Taylor Swift person, but for the modeling world. She's going to be that Linda Evangelista, the Christy Turlington, the Cindy Crawford. She's a classic beauty, but she's got a bright spark and head on her shoulders. She knows what she wants. She knows what she doesn't want. She's smart enough to show up and say what she needs and what she wants. She can talk to me, talk to mum and dad, and talk to DNA. And that was something that I wanted to implement right from the get-go, right from the beginning, was we are your team. We have a group chat called Team Abby. We are your team. Mum and dad, me, Macy, Maria, all the siblings, and there's a lot of them. We're all Team Abby, so we're all there to support her. And then she has her group chat with DNA. And I thought that this was so important that when you are, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So you text me or you text the group or you text, it was always, so it was collaborative. And now, when we went to Australia, the first thing I wanted to do was for her to start meeting girls her own age, girls that are in the industry. And now she's got this beautiful group of girls that are just like supporting, lifting you up. Like, I hope they're still doing it. I think they are.
They are.
It was so important to get those elements in her and for her so that she felt supported when she's doing great and when she's not doing so great, when she's winning and booking all the jobs and when she's not booking all the jobs. And what do I do when I'm not booking jobs, or what do I do when I'm having some time out? Her time out is not a time out. She is working every day to do something for herself, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And that is how you become a great model. And that's how you have longevity in this industry. I mean, I expect her to be working well into her 50s, 60s, if that's what she wants to do. But we also want to implement other avenues and other jobs and other sort of creative things on the side to keep that sort of passive income going for her, so that when she is having a down day or a week off or whatever, to go and visit your family or to have a holiday with one of your girlfriends, you've got a passive income rolling in the background, so you don't have to worry about anything financially. You can just go freely and enjoy your time with your friends and your family, knowing that, oh, I'll book my job when I book my next job. But I think that Abby's in such a unique position, and with the best agency in the world. I mean, everybody wants to be with DNA. I mean, Cindy Crawford's daughter is also with DNA. Some of the top models are with DNA. Linda is with DNA. Carolyn, my girlfriend Carolyn Murphy, she's also with DNA. Dawson Cruz, the top elite girls of the world are with DNA. And she didn't just get one yes, she got 3 yeses from the top 3 agencies. That is remarkable. That doesn't
Incredible.
happen. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You should be very proud of
Wow.
yourself, young lady.
Yeah, that was
You
a
really
pretty surprise.
should.
I was
It's nice to be able to choose what you felt was the best fit for you instead of being like, well, I guess I'll go with this one because they said yes. And the other two I'm sure were great as well, but you were able to choose your best fit.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't believe. Like, I didn't think I was even going to get one yes, because I was like, I'm so not used to this world. Like, I'm in New York City. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I know Teddy believes in me and she always believes in me, but like, will they also see that? Like, I was just the overthinking. It's big part.
Do you feel like, I mean, it sounds like, the term imposter syndrome. Do you feel like now, multiple years in and, still like new kind of, but kind of like settling into knowing what's expected, do you still feel like you are an imposter in this industry?
No. I have my certain moments, of course, because, I'm human. But I don't really think so. I feel a lot more confident in myself than I used to. And it's really good because I was at a point where I was just like, I did not see myself as a model whatsoever. Even after she said that, I was like, but are you sure? You'll change your mind. Like, literally, I'm not even joking. My number one fear after she saw me for the first time in like 4 months in New York, I was like, when she sees me, she's going to change her mind. Like, she's not going to, she's going to be like, actually, get on a plane, go back home. I forgot what you look like or something, just like, that's just silly stuff because she's obviously a great person. She would never do that. But, that's that.
But you didn't know that at the time.
Didn't know that. Didn't really know her at the time. But, now, of course, I would never think that. Yeah, I definitely feel like I've grown to love the industry and feel that I do belong. Of course, I always have more to learn. I have a goal that I'm going towards, and I really hope I get there soon, but I really am content where I am. Do feel proud of like what I've done. And that's pretty big for me because I'm very hard on myself. So even when I do well, I always am like, I could have done it better, if I had done this differently or whatever. But I just give myself grace and I'm like, you did good. It's okay. Could have done some things better, but here we are and you should be proud of yourself.
Definitely.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
It's truly incredible, and like just such an incredible story of just somebody coming up to you and being like, hey, maybe you should think about doing this, and just how it kind of exploded from there. Do you feel like it's limiting to knowing that you have an agency that's representing you and the best in the world? Like, do you feel like that's limiting, or do you actually like having, I don't know this world, so I'm just curious, like, when you have somebody who maybe like, that wasn't an approved part of your contract, or I don't know if they're that strict or whatever the case may be, but what
they will
that
be when
like?
she starts working like that. Yes, they will be. But I think that's Abby can answer this, but I feel like that's something that when she's got me and she's got mum and dad to talk to, she can do all of that talking with us. And then if we don't feel comfortable about something, we can then approach DNA about it. I mean, I work very closely with DNA for Abby. So everything has been very monitored very specifically because she isn't just like a normal model. She's not just like some girl that's going to do well and do a few little jobs. This kid's going to be doing Prada, Gucci, Miu Miu, like the top, like the top names. It's another caliber of model, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, Abby knows that she can pull the plug whenever she wants, and I will guide her in however we need to guide her. But yeah, I mean, Abby, you should answer that question.
Yeah, so, I'm still pretty new to the industry, and I've done a lot, but I haven't done, like, a ton. So, once I had Teddy, and I knew that she was having me learn, like, all to learn about the industry. She was like, you need to know this model, this photographer, this, like, everything. And I was like, okay.
Study.
Studying a lot, because I was like, I don't want to come off as, like, stupid. in this industry and just not knowing anything of what I'm doing. But DNA, they really understand me, and they are very like comforting because they're like, there's no rush. We picked you for a reason. Like we can see something for you, and you just, if you trust us, like we trust you to get there, kind of thing. And that's like super comforting to hear, because as a model, you're always like, are they gonna just change their mind someday of just like, actually you're not doing what we want you to do, or you're not where we want you to be. And they've been so patient. Like, this is a process, this whole thing, and it's not as easy as one would think to get to where I'm trying to go. And so they've been so patient with me and just being like, this is what you need to do. This is what we think you should do, but there's no pressure, really. Like, this is just what we advise you to do. That's your decision. Just trust us. Like, you're going to be okay. Like, either way, you have a plan B. And if you're interested, just let us know. But we believe in you, which is, like, great to hear. Those, I mean, that is like the best thing to hear as a model, is like, we believe in you, because it's like, you know, thinking about it and everything. I honestly, I mean, there are moments where I'm like, well, like, but what if we like do this? And then I'm like, Abby, they obviously know what they're doing. Like, they've been doing this forever. Like, I'm literally 18. They know what they're doing. They've been in the industry for so long. They've got, like, as Teddy said, huge girls and with them. And so I'm like, well, they're with them, then yeah, I'm lucky to be with them, you know? So that is definitely where I'm at right now with them. Super happy to be with them.
Do you feel like, or I guess, would you be willing to share, like you mentioned you've got goals. Are you, I don't need to know, you know, like your ultimate goals or if they're private, but is there any goal that you're like, you know what, I want to get on the Paris runway, or, you know, like, are there goals like that you're trying to go after, or that you are working with your agency on?
Yeah, for sure. I think the main goal for me is to do runway at some point.
Yeah.
And just, you know, the fashion weeks, because that's, you know, everybody wants to get to that point. But yeah, that's definitely the main thing. I'd love to go to Paris, Milan, London. I've already been to New York, but I'd go back for Fashion Week. So that's basically the main thing. Once I get there, just to be like, I made it and I did it. Like, all this work I did was like fulfilled. I feel great. And if that's something like, at that point, I'll know if that's something I want to do. But I don't want to like be like, I don't want to do that before I actually get to that point. Because then you're always like, but what if, you know? Like, what if I gave up too soon? So that's the goal. It's hard to get there, you know, but gotta just get through it, try your hardest, and see what happens.
Yeah, trust the universe, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's already on billboards and buses, and there was the back of a bus as well she was on.
In Australia, not here.
In Australia. You know, it's not really affected her career as a launch process here in America. But yeah, I mean, Abby was booking jobs left, right, and center in Australia. And yeah, I mean, it's just the first week we were there was crazy. I mean, she's one after the other, after the other, after the other. She's with an incredible agency in Sydney, Priscilla's, who Taul and Priscilla herself are dear friends, know me for forever. And yeah, again, I'm so proud of what she's already accomplished. And I know DNA is the same. And it's only going to get better because she's got the right attitude and the right mindset, and she's working, you know, slowly but surely to that goal. And I mean, when she opens a show or hits that runway in Paris, people are going to know who Abby is, and it's just going to be like a domino effect. And that's what happens. That's what happens to girls like her, you know.
Just like the snap of a finger.
Yeah, it's really, really exciting. But people will be like, "Oh, who's the new girl, Abby?" Well, actually, Abby's been doing this now for a number of years, and you know, being very patient in the wings, patiently waiting for her turn. A dear friend of mine, actually, who I've known since actually Abby's age, she was at a very simple modeling agency in New York, worked all the time. And I always knew that she was going to be something very, very special, but I think she was with the wrong agency, and she was managed incorrectly. But then there was this one day, and I was like, oh, she is She is going to be walking the runways of Paris every freaking fashion show. No, I just know it. And what happened? She signed for DNA and she walks the fashion shows just September. Remember, I connected you with her?
Right.
And I just thought, I've definitely got the eye for this. And I know greatness when I see it. And I just saw greatness in Abby when I met her, even at that young age. And I just thought, if this girl is as smart as I know she is, because I can already see it, she is going to have an incredible career. She's going to have a life beyond her wildest dreams. She's going to be so abundant. And even though we've got nails down the chalkboard right now, like uncomfortable with certain things and, things are tough. You're 18. It's not that easy. The world of abundance is out there for you, Abby, and it's only a matter of time. You just got to keep at it as we're doing. I mean, I'm doing it with her as well.
Yeah, right.
The reason I have these amazing guns.
Yeah.
So,
holding each other accountable.
She's my greatest teacher. We do Mad Fit most days. I mean, we do it every day, either separately or together. But it's just profoundly changed my body. She's changed my body. Like, seriously, her, Sandy, and Aubrey Williams.
Yeah.
Those three girls have changed my life and my body. And this is what's happening to Abby as well. It's just remarkable how powerful we are as human beings when we really choose the mindset. And that's why I think I'm so proud of you even more that you said that, because when you're mentally sound and mentally prepared, everything else just clicks into place.
Definitely.
It really does.
It does. And it doesn't sound like you are going to need it, but you've mentioned kind of a side gig or a plan B. Are you able to share that, or do you want to share the details of that?
Well, yeah, sure. While I'm home, I kind of just was like, well, probably should find a job since I'm home. And so I've been looking into just like super chill jobs. Coffee shop is kind of ideal thing, but what I did last year and like the majority of my teenage life was working at my dad's family business, and it's like farm equipment, of course. And so he's always been like there to be like, hey, if you ever need it, I'm here. We can find something for you to do in the meantime. And he's always like, we can be flexible, as long as you're working hard. If you need to leave, like, you can go, and you don't need like vacation days or whatever, because we know you're coming back and you're gonna work your butt off to help the business and everything. So that was kind of my main thing when I first started, was working at Taul equipment, and then also then flying out and being all glam. And I was thinking one time, I was like, this is the funniest. Like, I was feeling a little bit like Hannah Montana.
The dichotomy.
I was like, I'm answering a phone call for this farmer who's like yelling at me, not knowing where his little like tractor part is. And then I go on a plane, and then I am at this beautiful place in like Costa Rica, like shooting these ball gowns. And I'm just like, wow, this is really life is really funny sometimes.
So have you ever done a farm girl photo shoot?
I have not.
We haven't
done that.
You're like, no, those are my family pictures. Yes, you've done them for all of the years.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
That's actually really funny. We should do that at some point. We should do a test. Get Danny to shoot you as a farm girl. That's kind of funny. That kind of be kind of beautiful, actually. Might look into that. I might start doing some mood boards for that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you mentioned you've got really great friends at home, and what do they think about this? Are they like, what in the world are you doing? Or like, no, check out my friend, she's awesome. How is that?
Well, so actually, I can't believe how much support I have here at home. Like, I am so supported, and my friends were just like, what? Like, that's crazy. Are you kidding me? They're like, how? How did that happen in Kentucky? And I was like, it wasn't in Kentucky. But, they're just super supportive and happy for me. They always want to hear, like, what's the latest, And it's such a good feeling, because it could have gone another way. But I know I wouldn't have those kinds of friends that would be the jealous type or the pushing you down because you're successful, and just I was just so happy that I was like, I made the right choice in my friends, because all they do is support me and love me and want to hear about my life, and it's the best. And
I've met a
it's
lot of her girlfriends, and they're just a really lovely bunch of girls. When she was graduating, I met a lot of her girlfriends, and they really are just a beautiful bunch of girls. That you're so blessed, Abby, really. And they really do support you, which is just so beautiful. I see their comments on her Instagram, and they're just like, "Oh my God, fire!" It's just so cute. You know what I mean?
They're like, that outfit eats.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think they actually have said that. Yeah.
It's like, Abby Taul, what?
I mean, we've been at it for a full hour, so I'm sure your phone is like, what are you doing?
I did have to
It's
put
been
the
great.
on.
Yeah. We are no stranger to phone and technology issues on this podcast.
Yeah. Until we get all of our equipment, which we're hoping we might. I'm just so in awe of you, and I will say again, you are really one of my greatest teachers. And I know that you're only 18, and you're probably thinking, "Look, she's lost her mind now." But you truly are one of my greatest teachers, and it's such an honor to be in your life. It really, truly is, and I'm so grateful that you came on this and wanted to talk to us. And we should definitely have you back. I think
I would love to have you back.
I'd love to as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it would be nice to see Abby's journey, like through the through the stages, through the years, and then when she launches her brand and her products and all of the things that she's going to do, we can have you on just as you're about to launch or whatever it is, and really create some momentum around that too.
Yeah, I'd love that. I think that'd be amazing.
You're a very natural speaker.
Oh, definitely. Your poise and your confidence and how you speak. I don't know if you've had training or not, or if it's just a natural gift, but it's great.
No training.
That's actually really surprising. I thought I was not doing well, so thank you.
Oh, no, this has been awesome. I've loved it. And I've heard about you, like I said, since day one of knowing Teddy. I've heard about Abby. And
I was in Mexico, and I was on the phone with Abby, and we were both having a bit of a meltdown, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, guys. You drink your margaritas. I'm calling Abby." You know what I mean?
Right. We're like, over here. Yeah, but that just showed me immediately just the kind heart and just how amazing Teddy is, because she's here on this vacation and she is like, I love this girl. She's someone that I mentor, and you even said in that moment that she mentors me too. And you will do whatever you need to do to be there to support, and that's just a gift. And it was nice for me to see that. I mean, I already obviously loved Teddy from moment one, but then you start to learn more about her throughout the week, and I'm just like, God, she's legit awesome.
She's legit the best, literally.
Oh, stop it, you guys. I've always got 12 minutes. Always got 12 minutes. There's this saying, I think I said it yesterday. I've always got 12 minutes for anyone, and it takes 12 minutes to really bring someone off a ledge or whatever it is, to make them feel seen, heard, and comforted. And I always have 12 minutes, always.
But hey, we did give a plug to Taul. What was it? Taul Equipment.
Shout out!
Shout out, Taul Equipment.
If you need a tractor that's around Kentucky, Taul Equipment is your place. I'm telling you. Yep.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, Taul Equipment.
But is there anything you want to leave our audience before we go?
Yeah, probably just be happy being yourself, and don't be too hard on yourself. No matter what you're going through, just be proud of yourself, because you've made it this far, So that's about it. That's about all I got. But that's probably the main thing I've learned through all of this. Just be proud of yourself no matter what.
Absolutely. And man, do you have a lot to be proud of. This has been, I just loved listening to your story and your experiences. And I know we probably have hours and hours more we can dig into it, but this has been awesome. So thank you.
Yes,
thank you, Teddy, so for bringing Abby on. Abby, thank you for coming on.
You're so welcome.
We love this.
It was so nice meeting.
Yeah, likewise.
Well, I'm excited to see Abby's journey and to share Abby's journey with us, with the Wellness Podcast.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I love you guys so much, Abby.
Yes.
I will be speaking to you later, but I'll text you also in the morning, but I'll speak to you later. And Michelle, I'll speak to you later too. So thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you again.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you.